take my place up here and call super worthy panelists to join us. Okay, in the topic of being enough or feeling enough, kasi I'm sure everyone in this room, at one point in your lives or at several points of the week or of the day, we feel like parang kulang, parang I'm not worthy, whatever version of that. And I guess it cannot be denied that a big factor of us feeling that way, of us feeling medyo kulang, feeling we aren't enough, feeling we're not good enough, is social media, di ba? And I'm sure you all also passed by the interactive booth of our partner, Globe, right here. Sino dito naglagay ng confession? Who here was brave enough to... thank you for being brave enough to share your confessions. But later, I will read to you a few of what you wrote. Don't worry, walang name yon, anonymous. We just want to drive a point here. So we will be talking about social media and its effect on us feeling not enough with these wonderful, wonderful panelists. First, I'd like to call to join us here on stage. She is a travel photographer and also a zero-waste lifestyle advocate. She is at Kimmy Juan. Hi, Kimmy. Oh, with her, she brought her own bottle too. Me too. Hi, Kimmy. Say hi to everyone.
Hi, guys.
Yes. Okay. Next up, you might know his voice if you are a listener of Magic 89.9. But now he has taken a full-on role as the editor-in-chief of Slam Philippines and as the brand content director of Titan. Please welcome at Nico Ramos. Nico Ramos. Hi. If I'm not mistaken, Nico is our first male panelist of today.
Oh, no
on
pressure.
stage.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no, but thank you, Nico, for saying yes to our invitation.
Oh, no. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
As I told Nico when I invited him, kasi syempre inviting a guy to a She Talks panel, men are very much a part of the conversation, diba? So thank you, Nico.
I plan to represent the inferior sex as well as I
Wow
can.
naman! You can quote him. And to join or to round up this panel, she needs no further introduction at Miss Iza Calzado. Now, hashtag Mrs. Wintle. Yes. She also has her own bottle. Lahat tayo may sariling bottle.
I'm proud. I'm proud.
I love
Ano?
it.
Hi. I welcome myself
Yes.
back.
Okay.
Wala na kasi kaming budget, kaya ako
Uy,
na.
grabe
De,
naman.
joke lang.
Oo, hindi. So, I
Joke
just
lang.
want
May
to
budget
throw...
po ang Globe, marami.
Madami.
Thanks,
Oo.
Globe.
I want to throw a question to our panelists and raise of hands lang to, pati to our attendees today. Was there ever a day that you woke up, checked social media, and felt insecure, not enough, kulang, bad about yourself? Yes? Raise hands. Anyone here? Ever check social media and then you feel like, ba yan, bad trip? Or bakit ba ako ganito? Or I feel so insecure. Parang lumiliit tayo. What do you do after feeling that way? Wag na tayo mag-dwell dun sa low feelings, but how do you get out of that? Kimmy.
I think just focusing on your own life. Because, like, you know how you put things out on social media? That's curated. It's not really, like, even me, I admit that I put my best self out for people who follow me, that I want to show them only this part of my life. So, I think focusing on just that like, focusing on the idea that we're all human, that everybody has their own problems. Like, no matter, like, I think it works for all of us, no matter how many followers we have. Like, yeah, you could have this much, and I could have more than you, and you could have more than me. But I think we all feel the same, right? There's always somebody who has a better life, but everybody has their own problems. So I think focusing on being human, that we all share that trait, that we all are dealing with something, then that's how I kind of get out of that. Like, we're like being real, you know? Like, yes, this person I'm following may be having a vacation in Europe or something, and I'm here and I'm not in that vacation also, and I'm not doing something.
I'm here taking a bath in my one timba kasi
Diba?
walang
And then
tubig.
tabo,
Oo.
and then kasi walang tubig,
Yeah.
and then yung
Nakaka-class
person
yung
na yun
tabo.
nasa pool in Greece overlooking the
Yeah.
water.
Ibang-iba. Oo.
Diba? Pero like, I'm sure that person also is dealing with something. So instead of trying to compare ourselves with each other, we just support each other, right?
Does it happen to men? You raised your hand, so I assume it does.
Oh, absolutely. I think that, you asked the question, do you ever feel bad when you turn on social media? I think for so many of us here, male or female, on so many days, that's all that social media does is eventually leave you with a feeling about maybe not being enough or not having as much or not experiencing, living, traveling, eating, whatever it is that we're not doing enough of. For my particular background, I've always worked around sports, around basketball. So I grew up playing basketball. I now work around the sport so much. So the competitiveness is innate in me. So that was, as I was getting older and working my way through the field, that was kind of difficult to pull back sometimes. You see someone doing better, my instinct used to be to want to get there, to wonder, what am I not doing? Why am I not there? Along with basketball, hip-hop is such a big part of it. There's a classic hip-hop saying that says, don't count another man's bread. And that's another kind of adage that I think when I got a little older, and then when I realized there's really no way I'm going to end up looking like Piolo, which was a tough.
Piolo's sister is actually here. Ate Chiki, are you here? She's somewhere here. Speaking of Piolo. Wala, ang bongga, diba?
Ate, I'll see you
Oo.
later. Don't get
Ate?
confused.
Oo,
Don't get
baka
confused. I
ma-confuse.
know
Oo.
the resemblance is striking. Get it all the time. No, but I think that as I grew a little older, I think that's what I started to kind of try proactively to always think of, is that other people's wins aren't your losses. And just because someone else is doing well, that doesn't take away from your potential to do well. And that not every single thing is a basketball game where there's a winner and a loser. And I think that kind of helps me out. It doesn't solve all the problems, but it helps me out on those days.
Ganda ng quotable quote.
Oo nga.
I look like Piolo. Can that be the one thing that people take away from this?
Oh, we had Piolo on our panel.
Other people's wins are not my losses. Ang ganda nun.
Ang
Totoo
ganda.
yun. Oo. It's hard to believe that someone who looks and is as smart and wonderful as Iza Calzado also feels, hindi, di ba? Parang,
Bayad na bayad, girl.
hindi. Pero di ba, when you look at someone as
Love you.
beautiful and accomplished as Iza, you'll feel like, talaga ba siya? She feels insecure and not enough. So what do you do when you scroll social media and see those Greece travel pictures like Kimmy said? How do you get out of that rut?
Hindi, pero to begin with, no, yes, I feel, sometimes there are, di ba, there are moments here like, bakit ganon? Bakit kahit anong workout ko, hindi ko pa rin masuot yung sports bra habang nagwo-workout? Yung ganon. Yung, alam ko, self-love, pero iba kasi pag nakuna na ng picture. Di ba, may ganon. Hindi, ang daming moments.
Pwede ka sa
siguro-
sitcom.
Thank you.
Okay.
Push
sorry,
natin.
sorry. Go.
Yung first siguro, this is exactly why checking social media should never be the first thing you do in the morning. Because that's the last thing you want. To have that feeling of self-doubt or insecurity creep up on you, because it will, or it might. I'm not saying it's all the time it will, but there is a big chance that you will. So the first thing you do is be grateful for what you have. And the moment that you have that, you set the tone to your day. Kahit anong makita mo dyan, dumating man yung moment na kasi totoo, minsan you get jealous, you get envious. That's the term for it eh. You will be able to remind yourself na meron din akong sariling mga blessings. Meron din akong sariling strengths. But it's so hard. I think for me, where I come in is like the battle of yung sense of self-worth mo rooted ba sa social media. Kasi katulad sa business natin, where do we make money? Endorsements come in if you have a lot of followers. So, nagkataon, hindi na millennial. Hindi ba? Like, Encantadia was pre-Instagram. So, I mean, di ba? Imagine if there was Instagram na Encantadia. Siguro, di hamak mas madami yung followers ko. But hindi ganun eh. Parang, so may acceptance din na, okay, this is where I am at. Tapos, isipin ko, yung sense of self-worth ko ba rooted on the number of followers that I have? Or is it rooted on who I am as a person and perhaps also my accomplishments? So, ang hirap i-filter, no? Siyempre, minsan sabi mo, bakit siya may ganito? Bakit siya nakuha endorser ng ganito? Tapos isip mo, kasi ang dami niya talagang followers. Tapos yun, mapapaisip ka talaga na, kulang kasi. Ayaw mo naman bumili ng followers, di ba? Parang pangit din naman. So, like, it's really that, accepting where you're at and then just keep doing what you do best. And then eventually, when the time is right, you'll be, di ba, people will also see value in that. Yeah.
3 very different stories, and I'm glad Kimmy brought it up kanina that even though Kimmy does have a beautiful Instagram feed, but I think it's by virtue. Photographer ka kasi. So, syempre, kailangan when they check your account, the photos are beautiful. But coming from her na she said, hindi yun ang totoong buhay. Iba yung na-feel ko every day from the photo that you may see on my Instagram. So, if you check their 3 Instagram accounts, beautiful life, so busy, daming ginagawa. Oo, parang such an accomplished life. But there are low moments also for everyone in this room. And that booth right there, what you put in there, the confession that you wrote in there, is so different. That is something you will never put on social media, di ba? Or maybe if you do, good for you. I'm so happy for you. But just to show you the other side, if only these are the things that we could put on social media. One person said, and put as a confession, I am my number 1 enemy. I tend to be hard on myself as I was in the impression that as a girl, I always have to be perfect. Perfection is overrated. Believing in oneself is more than enough. So kung sino man nagsulat nun,
Ganda.
pang Miss Universe. Oo. Another confession. You might be able to relate to it, whoever in this room. The older I get, the more I feel I'm not the marrying type. And that doesn't make me less of a woman. And that doesn't make me selfish. Ah? Lakas ng yes. Okay. Amen, sister. Oo. So whoever wrote that, if someone else in this room, whether 2 women, 10 women, 20 women, feel the same thing, see, hindi kayo nag-iisa. Next, I have a complete family and supportive group of friends, but sometimes I still don't feel like I'm worthy of love. Nafe-feel...
Halika, hug kita.
Oh. Malalaman mo na kung sino siya.
Tap niya ako, mamaya. Gusto lang niya.
Last, overachiever daw ako, valedictorian nung high school, president ng student council, cum laude nung college. But why do I feel like I still have a lot to prove? So see, these are the things that you don't see on social media, but someone, baka katabi ninyo, wrote it in the confession booth. So, yun, I guess it's so important talaga to point out that social media is really just an extension of ourselves. It's not real life. I mean, it's hard kasi even if we know it, we always have to be reminded na real life is still more important. And at this point, I want to share the stories of our 3 panelists on how they have used social media as an extension of their work. Kumbaga, wag na tayo dun sa negative side ng social media because it helps us talaga do a lot of wonderful things. And like Kimmy, who started out as a travel photographer, and then tell us the story of what it is you saw on your travels that made you pursue this advocacy on a sustainable lifestyle.
So I travel a lot, mostly beach. So here around the Philippines, all over Asia. And then I think I was just blinded by, you know how when you see trash on the beach, it seems so normal before? Like, wala lang, it's just there. And you pass by, minsan you contribute pa, you're like, it's there na rin eh. So might as well just drop the trash there. And as I was kind of plateauing in social media, you know, I felt like I was just doing the same thing over and over and over. I felt like who was I? Like, who am I? Like, am I just someone who posts pretty photos on Instagram, who I post myself? And I guess I lost my purpose, so I felt like I wasn't contributing anything important. Yes, the photos are beautiful. I inspire people to become photographers and all, but I just felt like it wasn't enough. So I realized like that I was standing on the beach and I realized all this trash. I saw everything. And I started picking it up one by one and putting it in a small pile. And imagine like this stage size was like a huge pile of trash. And that's when I had a light bulb moment that I could use my voice in social media for something much greater, something that's needed, something that people don't talk about, right? Because sustainability wasn't a thing 2 years ago. People didn't care about plastic. And I felt like we just needed that drive, like what is something that people don't talk about but is important? So I used my voice on social media, but I also did it in a way that would make people like listen. Because you know how when you do an advocacy, and sometimes people will be like, it's on social media, but so I analyzed it. I was like, in order to make an advocacy noticeable is to make it look cool. So you have to make something look cool for people to follow. So I did it in a way where, combining my photography and combining my advocacy and putting it into one. And then that's how people saw, like that's how they noticed. Because when they look at a pretty photo, they see it more. When you scroll through the feed and look at a pretty photo, you notice it more. You take some more time to view this photo, and then they read the caption, and then the caption is what sends the message. And then that's what I've been posting now ever since I started around 2 years ago and until now. And yeah, it sort of boomed, and I'm glad that everyone's doing it. And now even me, I was surprised because now I felt like I had purpose in social media, and I wasn't focusing now on comparing myself to others, and I wasn't focusing on, I'm so jealous of this person and this person. Now the people that I follow are people who work on climate change, environmentalists, and now that's how I said, now I'm using social media for the good. So I kind of just, turned my life around. And now every time I use social media, I feel better because I see the posts that encourage me also to become a better person. So I think that's how I kind of diverted the negative of social media and making it into a positive.
And if you guys want to follow the advocacy of Kimmy, ako na magsasabi? Or
Yeah,
gusto
go.
mo ba? It's hashtag give a shit. Yun talaga, yung hashtag
Give a
niya.
shit,
And
yeah.
now I know what you mean by you have to sort of make it seem cool. Kasi advocacy on the environment, biglang hashtag give a shit. Oo nga pala,
Yeah.
you connect it, but
Yeah.
may extra something. That's right, no? If you have your own thing going, do you notice those days na extra busy kayo? You don't have time to feel bad. Kasi you're so productive, you're so fulfilled. So that's, I guess, what Kimmy's also saying, na if you find your own thing that you do on social media, your own purpose, whether it's environment related, family related, related to your work, whatever it is, yun nga, less time to compare yourself to others and feel bad. Nico naman, Nico, like he said earlier, all his work revolves around basketball, and you really have used social media so well in the sense that you get to synergize everything you do. You share the articles that you write for Slam, you share the campaigns that you do for Titan. By the way, guys, read his articles on Slam. Kahit na hindi kayo mabasketball, may puso. Wow, may puso talaga. But yeah, tell us about how you, yun nga, channel your energy into using social media that way instead.
I think it's because I think I got on Twitter relatively early. And, I'm not the photographer that Kimmy is. And much to Isa's insistence, I do not look like Piolo, although she's been whispering that I do.
I've been saying
Um,
it. Tinetext ko pa sa
she-
kanya.
She knows better than most of us. So I've always really been more a Twitter person than I have been an Instagram person. Don't get me wrong, Instagram's very very fun. But I think my thing has always been I've looked at social media, and I still do to this day, for all of its flaws and for all of the negative feelings that it gives us. I still see it as a great positive. I still see it as a tremendous advantage that's been given to this generation that generations before us didn't have and generations after us might take for granted. Everyone in this room, unless there's someone here under the age of 9, everyone here in this room was there and pretty much online before social media and the day that Instagram started, and we were all putting those borders on the side, those fake Polaroid borders on the side of your Instagram posts. Don't say you didn't, because if I scroll all the way down, I'm gonna find them. So that's what I think that's what's been able to help me utilize it for work, in the sense that I've always been. I don't know how to say this without sounding like, what's a euphemism for man? Well, without sounding like a man talking about himself. But I've always felt like I had something to say. Whether it was the most important thing or not, it was something I've worked hard on. Whether it was an article, whether it's a campaign we do at Titan, or whether it was something we used to do at the radio station when I still worked there. We would work on something very, very hard. I would be very, very immensely proud of it. And I just wanted to share it, because I've always been around people, and I've always been lucky enough to work on things for other people to appreciate. Whether it's things that you write, when you write about the national team, when you write about a particular player, things like this. So I've always been lucky in that way, and I just wanted to share it. So in that sense, that's how I've always approached social media, in the sense that I want this to be put out there. I just want to be able to share. And, I think that's worked well for me. I don't think there's particularly a strategy around it. It's just that my purpose towards it, as always, as much as I possibly can, make some money on the side, because we all got to eat. But for the most part, it's just to share good things. And I think that, that's kind of what's left me feeling a little guilt-free about what I share about social media, is because I've tried my best to always be genuine about my purpose for sharing.
That's a very, very good point that you said, that most of the people in this room, nabuhay tayo, wala pang social media. So I guess let's just always remind ourselves na kaya naman natin na wala for a while, or kaya natin to use it for good. And tama that what you said, that it's such a blessing to our generation. Kasi for example, you before, if you didn't work on radio, or if you didn't work on TV, there was no other way for you to get your message out there and to share the article that you wrote, the picture that you wrote, the artwork that you made. But because of social media, lahat tayo pantay. I mean, you can put your work out there, get hired right on the internet. Isa naman, a lot of you might be familiar how she has used social media to push for her body positivity advocacy. So the Body Love Revolution. Now we saw and see how you use social media in that sense, for the good. Body positivity, you're also with the WWF. But let's go now to the question that a lot of us are dealing with also. How do you deal with the bashers, the people who don't believe you, the people who try to put you down? Kasi even if hindi ka naman artista, may ganun at may ganun talaga sa buhay mo eh. What would your...
Doon mo pala dadalhin. Sabi ko,
sorry.
saan niya kaya dadalhin to? Actually, can I just say, it was so funny when you asked me to be part of this panel. Sabi ko, yeah, I do have something to say, but it's also interesting because I've had a love-hate relationship with social media for quite some time. Lately na I'm embracing it, pero hindi pa nga todo embrace. Kasi when I started in the industry, when we started, there was no social media. So honestly, all of this is like work on top of the work that I feel as an actress or as a host am supposed to be doing. So parang pagod na pagod ako, tapos hindi pa ako magaling mag-picture masyado. Yung hindi gusto ko cool feed. Ako, hindi ko talaga makuha. But I've come to realize, it won't hurt din naman if you hire a social media manager. These are things, no? If it's not your strength, it's okay. Then going back to your question, which I don't have one yet. If you know of anybody, let me know. Social media manager, humanap. So to go back to your question about bashers, sa totoo lang, medyo maswerte pa ako kasi feeling ko, hindi man super mega million, I mean, kahit 1.2 naman na ako, na followers. Thank you, Lord! Hindi ganun karami yung bashers ko. As in, I've been so blessed, feeling ko. I've had my fair share, and I remember, this was, bago pa Instagram, medyo mas ma-Twitter pa yung tao. That was around the time that I actually got a lot of bashers. Lately, parang kalma. So thank you, Lord. Talaga. I remember the worst thing that was thrown my way. Kasi all the other like physical panlalait, some of it are even true. Like they'll be like, Reyna ng stretch marks. I'm like, as if hindi ko alam. Like, diba? Parang I look at myself every day. Parang, but the worst part was parang my dad had just died. Like, siguro 2 years before that or a year before. And then, umabot sa ganito yung bashing. Nag-post ako ng tinola. And then, wow, tinola. Sabi ko, for lunch. Di ba dati ganun lang kababaw naman yung mga pinopost natin? Aminin
ulam
nyo,
lang.
ngayon na lang tayo pakul na kung ano
Tama.
pinopost natin, tas mas curated. Di ba dati kung ano lang,
Tama.
tinola for lunch.
Oo.
And then sabi niya, sumagot siya, masarap ba yan? Gusto mo next time buto-buto ng tatay mo, pakuluan natin.
What?
That's so true. And this person has been attacking me. And I know na that the tone, iba-iba man yung account. Alam ko, sabi ko, naiyak ako. Kasi sabi ko, naiyak ako kasi sabi ko, hindi sa galit. May part na galit, pero naiyak ako na umabot dito yung tao na to. Inisip ko, anong darkness ang pumalibot sa taong ito for you to actually say that to any person. So that's when you realize that when they bash you, it's really not about you. It's about themselves. It's about the lack of love that they might feel, the lack of self-worth. They feel that they are not enough. So they have to bring you down to make themselves feel enough. And sa totoo lang, mas nakakaawa yun. So sa tingin ko, that's really how you take it. I've also, last year, parang mayroon ako, binash ako about my bikini body. But parang na-pick up siya kasi nung sinagot ko, parang I saw it as this woman who was saying na, bakit ganyan ang katawan niya? Para nang ang dami niyang anak. So sinagot ko siya maayos, nakalimutan ko na yung sinabi ko. Pero diplomatic ko siyang sinabi. Kasi naisip ko, baka yun yung kailangan niya. And then people picked it up. And I had no idea it was going to go viral. And I think it's just, really putting them in their place. And instead, sabi nila, pag batuhin ka ng bato, batuhin mo ng tinapay. Kasi nga, baka gutom lang sila. Yeah, pero seriously, 'di ba? Minsan talaga, kailangan you take the higher road.
Yes.
But, I'm the first to tell you, it gets to us sometimes. Tao lang din kami. So minsan maiiyak kami, pwedeng manggigil kami, but that's life, that's when you have to remind yourself that you're in a position to take the higher road, and really, you must.
Okay, at this point, we would like to open the floor for questions. If anyone has questions for our panelists, please approach the mic in the middle of the... Yan. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Cami.
Cami, hi,
So,
yes.
I'm a science communicator and educator and advocate as well.
Wow.
So one thing I noticed is that science and STEM in general, it's not really a popular topic here in the Philippines. Filipinos aren't so scientifically minded. So as a science communicator who is a millennial, parang I want to get into that space of communicating science on social media for Filipinos. But it's a pretty not trendy topic. So do you guys have any tips for communicating like non-trendy topics on social media to make it, cool and accessible to a lot of Filipinos?
Wait, bago nyo sagutin, mga millennial friends, si Zenial Tita muna ang magsasalita. No, speaking of STEM, we actually had our first tribe meetup for She Talks Asia on STEM Sisterhood. And what I said there is like, the women in STEM deserve as much hype that we celebrities get because they are equally amazing. So, please give us tips nga. Paano nga?
What do you do in the field of science?
Right now, my degree was in molecular biology, but
Wow.
I'm teaching in UP and LaSalle right now. So in LaSalle, I teach science communication. In UP, I teach technical writing and molecular biology. So
Wow.
Molecular biology. Back to you,
Palakpakan
Kimmy and
natin.
Nico. Di ba ang galing?
Are you at
Galing,
all
nakakatuwa.
present on social media for this topic, or
sorry.
are you at all present?
I guess that's why I'm asking because I'm kind of afraid to start it.
You
'cause
want to get into it.
yeah, I want to get into it, but I don't
Know
know
how.
how. Like I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Like there's no example on Filipino social media that I can follow. Puro US, puro Australia.
Yeah, it's
Tama
you.
yung sinabi ni
Yeah.
Iza.
Because I
It's
think
you.
I think if you take from, like you said, there's from US and Australia, taking from the international people and bringing it here, you'll be the first one. And then it's all about presence on social media. Keep posting. Just how you start to become, you're gonna get followers on social media. I get questions all the time. No, how do I get followers on social media? What should I do? It's about presence. You just have to keep making content, keep posting, and it doesn't matter what it does. You have to just keep posting about your topic. Doesn't matter if people aren't interested in it because they're gonna come across it anyway. Just like starting with sustainability. At first, people were like, ang hirap naman magdala ng bottle, saan ako magre-refill, ganyan, so wag na lang. And then boomed. Like all of a sudden, everyone is so concerned about the plastic pollution. And it wasn't cool. It was in the same place it was like where you are now. And then me, I didn't care if people won't mind if I posted about sustainability and if I was telling them to do, I don't force the idea. I always say that. It's never force an idea on somebody because there will always be someone who won't agree with you. And like, I also don't want it to be like, oh, you use plastic bottles, then I don't like you. Because people are like that. Like they're gonna start hating on people who don't do these certain things or if they don't agree with you, and it shouldn't stop you. So you just have to start all the social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything. And then just keep posting content and there will be people who will see this content anyway.
May question ako sa iyo.
Go.
No, because you're talking about posting. What about engagement? So when people comment on your post, do you always answer back?
I answer back if it's a valid comment. If it was an emoji, why would I?
Of course.
What will I say?
No, I meant like
Emoji
I get you.
back,
But
oo.
if it's a
Comment emojis,
question, if they
Yeah.
have a
Yeah, if
question,
they have
you
a
really
question.
engage your followers.
Yeah.
So you really have to put... Ay, nasa na siya?
Nasaan na?
Wala. Kami? Hello, are you still with us?
Yeah,
Ayan,
nandiyan
okay.
naman siya.
Umupo na siya. Oo.
Huwag ka mahiya.
I just want to add something to what Kimmy said. Tama you have to lead it. Don't try to chase any other peg. You have to be the one to start. And I don't mean this in any bad way at all, but when you stood there with your pretty dress and pretty hair and nice smile, I would never have thought you were in
I know.
molecular biology.
Such a girl boss.
If you told me you were a surfer girl, I would totally believe it. So,
Yeah.
kumbaga, on social media, it's also a lot about how you
Present.
present yourself. So, kind of use that to your advantage
Advantage.
also. And then about putting content out there, you're all familiar with Mikey Bustos? Mikey Bustos, super huge YouTuber. It took him 160 videos na hindi pinapansin ng tao. His 161st video, boom. So you just have to keep on putting your content or your advocacy out there.
And
Yes,
I think,
Nico, do you want to
and
add?
I think it's important. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Cami.
Cami, I think it's also important. I think you were alluding to the fact that medyo may takot ka to start it because you want to start it and get it right. Which by no means is not a wrong feeling or a wrong desire. None of us here ever want to start something with the intention of getting it wrong. But I think embracing the possibility of being wrong that first time and not being so deathly afraid of it is such a big step. Bianca's right and Kimmy's right with their examples. You just do it. There's no way for you to find out, especially because you're telling me that your field, which I know less than 1% about, I should be asking you instead of you asking us. There's no way for me to be able to tell you what's going to work for that audience in that field when it comes to social media. Maybe Kimmy can teach you how to take better photos. Maybe I can help you put together a campaign. But as far as knowing that audience, no one knows it more than you do. So try, find out what works, find out what doesn't work. It's the best way to do it. And if it sucks the first time, sucks the first time. And that's fine. Your first miss is out of the way. Now you're invincible. Now you're no longer perfect. Now you can take a hit and you'll figure it out. I mean, you might be the next you might be the face of microbiology in the Philippines. And to Bianca's point, it would not be the worst thing in the world. So, I think that you'll be fine as long as you're willing to get out there and try it.
And don't be discouraged that it's taking a long time. Because like, you know how people are like, ayoko na, ang tagal eh. Like, wala nang followers, parang how many months pa lang. It's been months. Just to put it into perspective, I've been on Instagram for 6 years. And then I always ask myself, I've been on Instagram for 6 years, bakit ngayon lang, like I'm getting these projects or I'm becoming recognized. So it takes time because people think they follow me on Instagram or they follow you on Instagram and they think, like you when you said before the Encantadia days, they wouldn't have never known, diba, that you were already working so hard before, and then now they're gonna think, oh, you had it easy, you just got your followers like really fast, but it took a while. So if you, when, I'm not gonna say if, because I'm gonna say when you start this, in social media for your microbiology and all, if it takes a while, then it takes a while, but it will get there, eventually.
And just know that you're in a very unique position because there's no one like you yet. So you will set the tone for this. So aabangan namin ang mga post mo.
No
We
pressure.
will follow
No
you.
pressure.
Yeah,
Sige.
We will
Tag you guys.
repost. Oo.
Okay, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you also, Cami. And Lynn, actually, if you want to, diba, I'm sure STEM Sisterhood will have like future
Yes.
stuff. Just approach us kasi we can possibly work together. As much as I'd want this chikahan to just keep on going on all afternoon, you have many other sessions. Just to wrap things up, what is your message to everyone in this room about really leading and creating the life that you want with social media as a tool, not as something na kaaway natin that will bring us down? Kimi?
Find something that is important to you and just focus on that. Like, that's what you should be searching on social media. Don't search about other people. Just, unless idol mo sila. Like ako, sinesearch ko si Iza, idol ko talaga siya. Pero, like, me with my advocacy, that's all I search about now. That is everything that's on my phone and my computer, and every day I'm so happy to learn something new. So make sure that when you search something, it is valuable to you. Make sure that when you go on Instagram, instead of comparing yourself to others, you just have to be happy for that person and then focus on yourself and think about what value you can bring also to other people's lives and how you can better their lives and your life also.
Well said. Thank you, Kimi and Nico.
I think for me, I keep going back to what you just said. You have to use social media as a tool. Na hindi mo siya kalaban. It shouldn't be something that you dread. Because let's face it, how many of the people here in the room have plans on quitting Instagram or Twitter or Facebook today?
Or deleting the app
Or
today,
deleting
ano?
I mean, they're stealing our information, but guess what? Yeah, it's fine, right? I mean, I guess it's okay. Like, what are they gonna do? Come to my house? They'll go to Bianca's house before my house. Her house is bigger, right? I mean, we know the risks. We know the dread that sometimes it brings us. And guess what? We're not getting off of it. So, one, embrace the fact you're not gonna get off it, right? I mean, this is gonna be a part of your life. And two, I think you embrace the fact that everything that you see, well, not everything, most of the things you see on social media, from close friends to strangers, from famous people to all of a sudden famous influencers to, influencer ka ba talaga? Parang kahapon 200 followers ka lang, 14,000 na today. Every one of those people is like a boy on the first date. Right? Bagong gupit, susunduin ka, papakilala sa dad mo, hahatid ka afterwards, medyo fit pa. But everyone in real life is that boy except 3 years into the relationship, medyo tumaba na ng konti, hindi na tinatago sa'yo if he has to fart. But still probably, hopefully, lovable and loves you nonetheless. And there's nothing wrong about that. Everyone puts their best foot forward on Instagram. You're not any less for doing it. And you shouldn't necessarily hate on other people for doing that and say, hindi naman ganyan yung itsura nito sa totoong buhay. Of course! That's what filters are for. I'm highly anxious about being here because I filtered the last photo I posted 4 times. And I'm in a room of women looking at me going, As a last bit, layo pala talaga. Ang layo. Katawan lang yung nakuha mo kay Piolo.
Ay, bade.
Pero yung face parang off. But if there's one last thing, Kimmy mentioned the word curating earlier. Everything that you put out on social media is curated. And if it's not curated for you, then God bless you. You are a better person than I am. Everything that I've ever put out is curated. Hand to God. But everything that goes out is curated. Just try it for about a week and try to curate what comes in. Who you follow, what you follow. If they're negative, block them. If they're related to you, hide. If personally nila, hide. If medyo you haven't talked to them in a few years and their content doesn't make you feel good about yourself, don't take it against them. It's against you, you're following. Unfollow, hide, mute, whatever it is that you have to do. Make sure that if everything that you put out you feel good about, kasi inedit mo yun eh. Yung BFF mo, nandito na eh. Pinulikat na eh. My beautiful girlfriend is here and she looks fantastic on Instagram. And in
is
real life,
she?
she's over there at the
Bea.
back. She is, no offense to everyone here, the prettiest girl in the room. But the number of times I've gotten cramps because I have to get the low angle or the high angle or just the right light. By the time that you post it, masaya ka dun eh. You're happy about it, di ba? So, hindi naman siguro ganun ka-wild na idea na sana happy ka din dun sa pumapasok, dun sa nakikita mo, nababasa mo. And the elections are coming, so it's gonna get even more toxic. So, for me, that's it. Just try it out for a week. Just try it out for a week and make sure you examine every single post. This doesn't make me feel good. Then why do you allow it to enter your life? You're in control. No one else is holding your phone or your accounts. You're 1,000% in control of social media. Social media isn't this massive thing that's overwhelming. It's not a tsunami coming after you. No, it's a tiny little bubble that you can pop whenever you want. You pick your bubbles. I like this one. Kimmy saving the environment. I want to be there with her. I want to protect this bubble. Continue to follow her. Nico Ramos only posts about sneakers and basketball. Di ko trip. Unfollow. It's fine. It's all completely up to you. And I hope that maybe if we do that, we feel a little better about something that's, if used the right way, truly is a gift to us.
Galing. Paano pa tayo susunod kay Nico?
Eh, yun yung sasabihin ko eh.
Go ahead, Iza.
Curating the social... Ayoko na, bye guys! Hindi, seriously, I was actually going to say that because during our last conference, during the Body Love Conference, I talked about filtering your online life and your real life. Diba? They're filtering your friends and filtering the people you follow online. I have to say, before, mas mataas yung insecurity ko siguro or self-doubt when I wasn't using social media to spread a message. Which I honestly still don't do greatly kasi tamad talaga ako sa social media. You know, I still have to really maximize it like the Body Love Revolution. But it's only when I started doing that I felt I had a purpose. I like my voice was not just this one artista who was promoting her every project. That there was a purpose to it, and of course through She Talks Asia also, there's a bigger purpose to my platform on social media. I also became more okay with myself because of social media. Because it was through social media that I started following and discovering all these accounts of women who also had lost weight before. So before kasi when I looked at social media, I would see even body positive accounts like Ashley Graham. When I look at her, it would make me feel like still not enough kasi parang ang perfect niya pa rin. But when I would see some of the girls like me who'd lost 100 pounds or more, then I could relate more to their bodies. So I think it's just about also putting that image out there or that story out there so that people will know they're not alone in whatever it is that they're going through. So I guess that is the true power of social media in making others truly understand that we are all the same. At the end of the day, everybody poops. Sabi nga ni Oprah Winfrey. Sinabi niya yun dati, tapos sabi ko, tama. Tama ka. So, diba, we're all the same. And I think the more that we understand this about each other, the more that we will be kind to one another. And that's how you use social media for the better, for good. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thanks.
And siguro just to wrap this up, I want to share what our friend Andy Hugueta said. She said, even if you look at social media and we feel like we're chasing this curated life that we want for ourselves, even though we know that doesn't exist in real life, we should stop chasing that. We should realize that we really are more similar than we are different. And we should really lead our own lives. We should create our own lives the way we want to, just like our three panelists here on stage have done for themselves. So with that, we wrap up this segment. Thank you very much,
Thank
Kimmy
you.
and Nico
Thank
and
you.
Isa.
Thank you.
And we shall be, thank you for your, for Cami pala, si Cami lang pala ang nakatanong. Thank you, Cami, for your question. Approach mo talaga kami sa side later, how we can work together.